good morning, good afternoon, good evening, family. How are y'all? Welcome to the Mental House. I am your host, Khadija. Um, Boy, I'm just gonna get right into this. I received a email from one of the subs regarding the video I did about the narcissistic mothers and I think wives and whatnot. I received a letter in my inbox, which I can and I will share, uh, and it's right along with high conflict individuals. This story to me was so damn moving um, that I can share it without leaving the individual's name, but I thought it was just a great um, definition of what I'm talking about when I talk about addictive people, um, people that, for whatever reason, um, are predators. Whatever the damage, psychological damage from their upbringing, their uh, inattentive, um, how do you say it? No, no empathy, no connection with a parent and a child will sometimes leave an individual cruel and callous, or either the other side of the spectrum, codependent. And when I read this letter today, um, uh, this email, I couldn't help but think that this person was just a victim of abuse that I knew all too well. So I'm just going to share this with y'all. Um, Found an email from a January 5th. Um, January 5th, 2016 is a day I wish I could just take back from the annals of history. While I never felt the need to look at my wife's open emails, that day I did, for whatever reason. And what happened next still has me mind boggled uh, at this moment, nearly 3 months later, when the woman I'm involved with, I moved the mouse and saw a correspondence with her and an ex of supposedly 22 years ago. This email is too much to go into detail, but let's suffice it to say I have a 14-year-old and a 7-year-old who I seriously doubt that I am the biological father of. I, like anybody else human, have lied before, but when confronted with the truth of a situation, I am embarrassed. I take full responsibility uh, to move on, and I feel that that is required of an adult. Not this bitch. She looked at me right in the eye and went into a rage about me reading her emails as opposed to what the content of the emails were. She denied everything and said she felt threatened. She was going to call the cops, and I have never felt so close to hopelessness, broken, and betrayal in my life. I cannot help any of my children in the same home with this woman. I have filed for divorce of of February '08. I'm sorry, February 8th. and I am learning about BPD, and my wife has all the symptoms. She scored 7 out of the 9 criteria for borderline personality disorder. She has since called my job, well, started a smear campaign against me to all of our friends and family, and I have never felt this close to wanting to. Wow. I've never felt this close to wanting to beat someone in my life. I am just making this known to get it out because I feel that a nerve was struck in me when you began to initiate the story of the man and his, I'm sorry, the man, a man and his past relationship. Something resonated in me when you spoke of the man and his last relationship with the disassociated wife. I felt the need to share my story. Wow. You know, now I just want, thank you. Thank you very much for sharing that part of your life with us. Um, and with me, I'm glad that um, the responses that came off of the page, speaking about narcissism and personality disorders and just high conflict people in general, touched the nerve in so many people that they are willing to share their stories, because this is definitely the place to dump it in the mental house. So I want to thank you for opening up and sharing your personal story with us. Secondly, um, wow, what you said about your two sons really struck me as devastating for a father to even to have to think about something like that. Because I don't know how you feel about that, but in my opinion, if you are the only father that they know, then you are their father. Maybe not biologically, like you said, but you are the only father that they know. I think that is a very devastating and a horrible thing to do to an individual, to trick them, or if that is the case, you didn't mention if you were going to have them tested, or I don't even know what good it would do now at this point, other than just tear your family totally inside out. It's bad enough that y'all have to file for divorce, and that's going to hurt the kids um, just as bad. That's going to hurt the kids to a level that they're going to have to emotionally deal with that. So I don't think, or in my opinion, I don't know if any other um, finding out any other information is going to hurt any worse or any less. I just know um, maybe at this point it is time for you to live in the truth. But again, you are their father if you've been with her. Wow, I think you said what? Oh, the person I don't think you mentioned how long you were married, but what you did say is she was with an ex supposedly 22 years ago. So I shudder to think that you guys were together longer than that, or just as long, and throughout that time she was having an affair. But what I will say is you can heal and repair yourself from these emotional vampires, people that prey off the good nature and the sensitivity of others. Uh, and while you giving 100%, they are basically being a predator. And I don't know what no other way to describe the situation other than you should be happy that while it may hurt, you should be happy that you put an end to such a dishonest person. And lastly, I thought that was a very good comment that you made when you said that you can't leave your children in that environment. At least they have some place to go to get out of the madness. Um, because living with somebody like that, you need a safe space. It's very difficult for the children to watch their parents argue all the time, and it's much healthier when they can come out from a high intense situation and go to another parent's home that is showed love and the situation is a lot calmer. So I want you to know that I wish you well. I appreciate you again opening up and letting us in on your letter, your life, and hopefully you'll you'll just keep coming back to the mental house and some other things that we say here resonates with you. Okay, be blessed, and for those of y'all out there, just make a comment, like what you hear. If you like what you hear, please subscribe. Thank you, and y'all be good.